Why hasn't he been arrested and indicted for threatening to kill Trump? And here we have a senator on video assaulting law enforcement, and rather than being arrested, he's walking around, he's doing media interviews. Hey everyone, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton here. So much happening. First up, though, the insurrection by the left again. This past week, Los Angeles has been under siege due to rioting, really a leftist insurrection, using the excuse of federal law enforcement enforcing federal immigration law against the Biden invaders and other unlawfully present aliens, meaning illegal aliens. And the left, allied Democratic politicians, have been trying to maximize Trump's mass deportation effort politically by attacking law enforcement, attacking the rule of law, defending invaders, defending criminality, and frankly, encouraging violence and rioting. And so the president, in response, you can see the video, you've seen the videos of what's been going on in Los Angeles. Foreign flags. It's clear there have been a large number of actual non-citizens engaged in the violence against federal and local law enforcement. I mean, truly outrageous conduct and pretty dangerous stuff as well. And what happens when the president wants to take action and defend the rule of law, defend federal property, federal lives, the lives of LA citizens? He gets attacked by the left. And the left encourages violence and yet then blames Trump and law enforcement for the violence by their allies. And here you have the lead insurrectionist in many ways, Mayor Bass from Los Angeles, try to shift blame from her own incitement to President Trump.
A week ago, everything was peaceful in the city of Los Angeles and in all of the representatives behind me in their cities as well. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place, and it's important that I begin there because that is the cause of the problems that have happened in the city of Los Angeles and other cities. This was provoked by the White House. The reason why, we don't know.
I mean, incredible. The federal government enforces the rule of law on immigration, removes foreign nationals, many of whom who were targeted were dangerous foreign nationals. And this darn politician who refused to, by accounts, provide necessary protection against the resulting violence egged on by her political allies, dares blame ICE, dares blame President Trump. You know, under the January 6th precedent, incitement's a federal crime. Remember? They tried to put Trump in jail over that. Is Bass going to be investigated for it? I hope so. And this is what happened once she started inciting riots. Let's go to this video of the highway, the major highway in Los Angeles that was shut down, people's lives disrupted, people's lives put in jeopardy. Major transport hub or transportation network in Los Angeles shut down by their rioters. And look at what the police had to contend with there. And they had to show up and fire tear gas and such to clear the highway. And of course, Trump, per usual, is on point, understands issues, and can explain them in a very easy way, in a way that's easy to understand. And you know, he pointed it out smartly, and because he has a memory, right? the left prides itself on being an enemy of memory and history because they don't want you to remember anything that they've done before. But Trump is too smart for them. Let's go to Trump explaining the context here, number 14.
You have to remember, I've been here before, and I went right by every rule, and I waited for governors to say, send in the National Guard. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it, and they just wouldn't do it. It kept going on and on, got worse and worse. And in Minneapolis, that city was burning down 7 days, and I said, I don't care. The governor, who's a governor that just happened to be running for vice president, a total, you talk about an incompetent governor, he's an incompetent person. That he was picked, well, I was actually very happy he was picked for other reasons. But this guy wouldn't call the National Guard. And we ultimately just sent in the National Guard. We stopped it. But that was after 7 days. And I said to myself, if that stuff happens again, we've got to make faster decisions because they don't want to do it. The radical left, it's usually radical left, and it's usually governors that are Democrat, and they don't want to call them in. They don't want to save lives. They don't want to save property. They don't want to call them in. I don't know what it is. We sent them in, not early, we sent them in late as far as I'm concerned. But big problems, as you know, 3 nights ago, big problems were ensuing. If we didn't send in the National Guard quickly, right now, Los Angeles would be burning to the ground.
Yeah, and of course, for his troubles in defending the rule of law, he got sued in federal court by the radical leftist governor, Gavin Newsom. Of course, they got a left-wing judge, a Clinton appointee, actually the brother of former Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, to essentially, I would argue, these are one of these few decisions, there's no doubt, it was literally a judicial coup. Said the president didn't have a right to deploy the National Guard under federal law and as commander-in-chief. Just like an incredible assertion and usurpation of presidential power. And thankfully, a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals panel said that's ridiculous. Your ruling is stayed and shut it down almost immediately. And I got to tell you, Congress has got to get its act together with this impeachment analysis or approach to policing the courts. They don't even want to have a hearing on it. Will we have a judge telling the President of the United States he can't deploy the National Guard to defend federal law enforcement and federal property? He can't send the Marines in to defend the rule of law, as federal law specifically allows for? I mean, look at Newsom's response. You've got Tom Homan threatening rightly to arrest or to push for the arrest. Homan can't do it directly. I'm sure he wish he could. Of Homan and people of Newsom and people like Bass who may be engaged in criminal activity with respect to obstructing ICE enforcement and encouraging and inciting violence. And here's Newsom's ridiculous response.
California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next.
Yeah, let's go to the clip where he's number 26.
The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me.
Confused. So I don't, any doubt that he's kind of off his rocker in terms of, remember, he spent a lot of time the last few months trying to, trek a little bit to the right and to the center. Now he's a full-blown insurrectionist. And it's spreading. They're in New York. They're in Las Vegas. They're planning this weekend a mass protest that, that as surely as night follows day is going to result at least in some violence and insurrection. And I think the president, in moving the National Guard in to protect L.A., he He didn't invoke the Insurrection Act. He didn't need to. But I think he should move to invoke the Insurrection Act because this is just too dangerous. And on top of that, you've got this race baiting. On top of everything else, you've got this racial hatred being fomented by the left. Here's the Chicago mayor with some more viciousness.
They are absolutely terrified. And that's, look, I remember a few stand-ups ago when I talked about what terrorism looks like. This is it. There should be no question to what our country would look like had the Confederacy won. We're seeing it on full display.
So ICE removing foreign nationals, including criminals, like dangerous criminals who aren't supposed to be here, is like the Confederacy winning? Like slavery coming back? Is that what he's suggesting? And, as I noted on a tweet, this is a dangerous time for the country. Let's go to that tweet I posted, number 27. I mean that metaphorically, folks. I meant that literally. Senator Alex Padilla, a senator from California, assaulted law enforcement in interrupting a speech or a presentation or press event by Secretary Nome. And what happened is he shows up, Nome's talking. By his own admission, he's, quote, standing in the back, and he doesn't like what Nome's saying, which is fine. He doesn't have to like it. But rather than be normal and sensible about it, he moves to the front of the room, demands to have his voice heard, ask a question, does not identify himself as a senator until law enforcement swarms him and moves him away because they were concerned about a security threat. And rather than cooperate with law enforcement, what does he do? He pushes and assaults. Let's go to the video. Number.
Guys, ready? Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is I have a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to
Hands up.
specifically how many of our ICE agents have been docked.
On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you don't my hands, go ahead, put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. Other hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out.
So under the January 6th precedents, right, his home's going to be raided. He's going to be in jail, right, awaiting trial. He's going to be tried and convicted and sentenced to 1 to 3 years in prison for restricting or impeding or resisting arrest and on law enforcement operations. Right? You think that's going to happen? I mean, if I were there, I don't know, I'd have him out in a way that his feet would never have touched the ground. I would have gotten him out so quick. Those law enforcement agents deserve meritorious medals, whatever the law enforcement equivalent would be for their jobs for exercising the patience they did with that violent man. We have a senator from California who was violent and attacking law enforcement. And he's out there making false statements about what he did. And I want to know why he's still walking around a free man. For that matter, why is Comey still walking around a free man? Why hasn't he been arrested and indicted for threatening to kill Trump? And here we have a senator on video assaulting law enforcement, and he's rather than being arrested, he's walking around, he's doing media interviews, and of course being promoted and lionized by his left-wing colleagues, his Democratic Party colleagues. And on top of that, you had the president of Mexico inciting more of this, telling her citizens, the left-wing president, the left-wing president telling her citizens in Mexico to object to a modest increase in remittance taxes for illegal aliens and other foreign nationals, quote, sending money abroad, sending money home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.